Hey guys, it is Ashton Meyer, founder of Believe to Achieve Team and two-star Diamond Coach. Today, we want to talk to you about the power of your story. This is your $1,000,000 story. And what we want to talk about is how important it is to really break down your story into 3 different categories. Everyone has a story. Right, Glenn?
Ashton, I thought I was supposed to go first. I thought I was going to do this big introduction, doing the stanky leg dance and stuff like that, but what's up with that? Anyway, I'll talk to you about that later. Hey guys, it's your coach Glenn, and I'm honored to be here, and I want to talk to you guys real quick about basically breaking your story down. There's pretty much 3 different topics that you can really talk about during your story or for your story. So I want you to get in the mindset that there's a ton of options out there, even if you don't have a big transformation story. The first story breakdown is it can be a physical change. So it can be a big transformation, it can be a small transformation. It could be you've lost enough weight so you no longer have back pain, knee pain, all kinds of things that will help to have a physical type of a transformation. You can have a financial transformation. That could be just earning enough in order to pay off your Shakeology each month. Or it could be big enough or a large enough story that you've gotten out of debt on credit cards, or you've even paid off your mortgage. So there's all kinds of different levels of financial success. It doesn't have to be this ginormous, you're $1,000,000 earner and you paid off your home. And then the third is emotionally. How has Beachbody affected you emotionally? Has it given you more confidence? Has it allowed you to be more positive, be around people who are like-minded and very positive? How has that affected you? And those are the 3 major components of how you can break down your story. Back to you, Ashton.
As Glenn stated, you can break these categories down into 3. So first of all, I want to talk to people that are maybe brand new coaches or really feel like they have not had that big of a story yet, okay? Because we look at people, how many of you guys look at people and you're like, they paid off $400,000 in debt, or they lost 100 pounds, like, I don't have that. Yes, you do. You might not exactly have that, and you got to remember that someone where they start at, it's where they start at. Where did you start off at? So this is how I want to break this down. First of all, where were you at before you joined as a Beachbody coach, or before you started your journey? Where were you at? Glenn, how did you feel?
It was 2009, and I was driving from one of my accounts to another account. I was in orthopedic medical device sales, and I was doing really well. I was at the top of my game, but I remember that day, like to a T. I was driving up Route 11, and I got a phone call. I looked down at my phone, and it's my VP of sales and so I answered, and the week before, we'd been at Dave & Buster's playing pool together, things like that. So I answered the phone, and he said, Glenn, I'm on the phone with our human resources and also with the area manager, and I want to tell you, effective immediately, you are no longer a part of Smith & Nephew Orthopedics. That rocked my world, and he just kept repeating that same line. It was nothing personal, it was just strictly business, and hearing those words come out of his mouth really just turned my world upside down immediately. I had to pull over on the side of the highway. I felt sick in my stomach, and then to make even matters worse, I lost my phone connection. It was just a big mess. But so that was back in 2009 before I became a coach.
Next, what is your breaking point? What was your breaking point? What made you decide to become a coach, or what made you break to starting to get healthy in this journey?
So in 2011, I started as a Beachbody coach, and my goal with becoming a coach was, my breaking point, so to speak, was, I never wanted to feel like I did back in 2009. I love helping people with their fitness, with their wellness. I've always been healthier, and I've always been kind of the workout guy, and so that's how people know me. And so Beachbody fit hand in hand with what I wanted to do, not only what made me feel good as far as helping other people, but also financially. I saw, when I spoke with Jeff Armbruster on our Getting Started Right call, he was telling me about the potential for residual income, and that got me really excited. So that just knowing that this was an opportunity that I could grow into a full-time income, that was what really intrigued me.
And the last piece of this puzzle is, what did you accomplish, or where do you want to go?
So if we fast forward to November 2014, I was sitting at my desk, and my manager called me. And at this point in time, I was a medical director of a medical practice. And he called me into his office, and he said, "Hey, I just found out we're going to be losing our funding from the company that was funding our medical practice." And he said, "Unfortunately, we've got to let you go." And so, the feelings I had at that point in time, just this past November, were complete opposite of the feelings that I had experienced in 2009. Thanks to Beachbody, I was able to not panic. We had enough income coming in from Beachbody that it, pays for 85-90% of our bills. And so it was more of a feeling of excitement as far as, okay, what's next, versus a feeling of dread and horror that I experienced in 2009.
As you guys got to hear one of Glenn's story, what category did it fall under? Come on, anybody? All right. Now I want you to think about different categories that your story falls under. No matter where you're at in your journey, no matter where you started, you have something. You're probably sitting there like, well, I didn't lose 100 pounds. I didn't pay off $400,000 in debt, or I don't make $1,000 a week. It doesn't matter. It's about where you are now. How did you feel before you started? For example here, let me break this down. Let's say you're a brand new coach and you joined while starting your journey. How did you feel? Well, I was in pain. I was struggling to survive every single day of my life because of how obese I am. And I decided to start the 21-day fix because I wanted to get healthy for my family. My investment in me is more important than anything else. And now I'm going to achieve the 21-day fix extreme, and I'm going to show my family how important it is to stay healthy and fit. Who wants to join me in this? Something very basic and small like that. Maybe you paid $20 towards a credit card that you wouldn't have been able to pay if it wasn't for the income that's being provided in from Beachbody. It doesn't matter if it's $20 or not. You wouldn't have been able to pay that if you weren't a coach, right? Exactly. Now, if you do have any type of financial stories that you're putting out there where you're saying anything, please make sure that you grab the disclaimer and put it in there, because that's something that we want to make sure that we protect ourselves from. Emotionally, think how much the support. For one, if you become a Beachbody coach, how many people have been around Beachbody coaches? Even in your team pages, the difference of positivity and everything. I'm sorry, but you guys all know what I'm saying, right? Like, when you're around that positivityness, what happens? Your level just keeps rising and rising and rising and rising. Everyone's like, what are you on? And you're like, well, I became a coach and I'm around all these amazing, successful, positive, uplifting people. I look at 4 years ago, my stories that were popping out on Facebook. Woo! Yeah, they were negative. And what happened? I progressed with personal development, and it really grew me to who I am today. So that could be a story. Like, I was absolutely an emotional wreck, and I became a coach to not only help myself in my journey, but to help other people achieve their goals. And in doing that, I got surrounded with this amazing family of team that's called whatever your team is called. And now I just can't seem to, all I do is smile. Like, this is the most amazing feeling ever. So no matter what it is in your life, you can think of something that's in your story. So I want you guys to comment below and let me know how and what category your story can fall underneath. I'm sure all of you guys can come up with one thing out of the physical, out of the financial, and out of the emotional aspect of this. There is no way, because like I said, even if you have not achieved it yet, talk about it like you received it. Like for me, I became a coach to have more freedom for my family and to pay it forward because of my journey. I'm not out of debt yet, but I can guarantee right now that the amount of people that I am helping, that I'm going to be out of debt, I'm going to have a home. I put my dream board out there for people to see. Talk about it like it's already happened. Okay? So let's hear your story, and I hope that this inspires you guys. And wait for more.